Hello and welcome to Paper Roots Scrapbooking. I'm Nadine and today we're going to talk about online challenges and crops, page sketches, and using scraps. So one of the things that I like to do to get myself through some pages, especially if I'm not feeling particularly creative myself, is to go online and find online crops and challenges. So May is perfect for this because it's International Scrapbooking Day / weekend / kind of goes on for the whole month. And this year at Scrapbook Generations SG Scrap Squad Facebook group, they had a National Scrapbooking Day virtual crop that went actually from Thursday to Sunday. Tons and tons of inspiration, games, challenges, information. It was a really good time. And they are keeping their challenges opened. They already pulled winners for like the games and that sort of thing. But the challenges, so the page challenges and the card challenges, etc., they're leaving those open until May the 29th. So I am still using some of their challenges to get myself through some of the pages that I've been kind of putting off, I guess. So today I'm going to be working on this challenge right here. It was from Thursday, April 29th, and theirs was called Shape It Up. It was every day was a different shape, and Thursday was circles. I've done a lot of the challenges from this day already. Circles do inspire me, so I kind of put most of my focus on the challenges of this day. And we are going to work on today the 2 p.m. Scrapbook Generation Sketch Challenge, which was Debbie Saunders' one-page sketch with circles. Now this sketch is available on the Scrapbook Generation website for free. I will link it below. And this is what the sketch looks like. National Scrapbook Day 2021 free sketch. If you have not checked out their website for free sketches, you really should. There's a ton on there. For those who like this sort of thing, they do give measurements. And sometimes I really love that because some days when I'm not feeling particularly creative, I can just follow the instructions and at the end there's a page and it's awesome. So here is the sketch that we're working with kind of this big patterned paper and then some circles across, and the title goes down here. There's some border strips and 3 3x4 photos and a little journaling tag. Now, I'm not sure exactly what mine's going to look like yet, but I wanted to use up the papers that I had pulled for National Scrapbook Day at RTS, where I was working my way through this Bo Bunny collection called Toy Box, and I will also link that below. I did find a retailer that still has it on their website. It says it's available, so I will link that below, but I've never purchased from this website before, so I have no like review to give you. I just know that they say it's available at their site. So I will link that below. And we have here, for this big piece right here, what I have is a bunch of kind of like similarly sized strips that I'm going to use in place of the big border. And then I also, out of some of the smaller chunky bits, I punched a bunch of circles to make the border. And for the pattern paper bands, or whatever these are down here, border strips, I am just going to use some washi, and I'm going to use a stripe strip. Now I didn't have a full 12-inch one, but I'm going to show you a little Allison Davis trick that I learned in her last class, and I'm going to splice together a stripe strip. And I also have a few little banner pieces that I think will fit nicely here. and I typed up my journaling already. Now I also created this tag for one of their other challenges. What was it called? It was the Circle Mini Project. Create a tag embellished with circles, and there was a slideshow that you could follow along to build this tag. It had a sketch actually that I think you can print off. I didn't print it, but I just followed the slideshow, and this is what I came up with. And I had this little bit that I punched out the for you, and then I had some little doodlebug bits for you, and then I put a Q here that I punched out of an alphabet paper because my little grandson's name is Quentin, so for you Q. So I thought this would be a nice place to use it if I can fit it in, because this layout is going to be about a gift that he got. So let's see what I can come up with. Not sure exactly how it's going to turn out, like I said, but we will see what we can make out of the scraps left behind here. I did make one other layout since the last video. I was on a Zoom crop with some friends who I usually scrap locally with, but we can't do that right now because it's COVID times, and the area I live in is still actually in a lockdown situation. Our numbers are very high. Our immunizations are comparatively low to other places. And so we are not really able to get together very often with anyone, but especially people, not people outside of our cohorts. So let's see where to begin. I think I'll start with this bottom strip down here, and I will put down some washi. So I want the wider washi, this polka dot one. And I'm going to use black because I wanted to incorporate this tag, which I made on a black piece of cardstock instead of white, just because that's what I had sitting on my desk. So there is that bottom bit. And this is a thing that I do when I start running out of 12 by 12 strips, is I'll switch over to washi because it can go across the page as many times as I want it to until it runs out. I think I've only ever used up 1 or 2 full rolls of washi tape, so I don't know. It feels like this stuff lasts forever. Goes on and on and on, like the Energizer Bunny. And then I think I'll leave that to the side while I put on these strips that are going to be in place of our large chunk of patterned paper. Now on the sketch where it says measurements, it says that that long background piece is to be 12 by 7 inches. Now I don't think any of these are 7 inches tall. I think some of them were cut from 6 by 6 paper pads, but I'm just gonna line them up and see where we go from there. So what can I tell you about this layout? This layout is about my little grandbaby when he was, I'm still sad. I'm working on his first year still. Because when he was born, I had a really, really hard time with the fact that we lived so far away. And I struggled with it so much that I found scrapbooking about him really hard. And so he's going to be 3 at the end of the month, and I am still working on year number 1. And that's totally okay. I don't feel like I need to do things in order. As you saw the other day, I just did a recent layout about him, and that's fine with me. I don't get worked up about that sort of thing. I just roll with the punches. And I've never had anybody complain. Well, actually, that's not true. My youngest son, he sometimes will question me about not being up to date on some of his stuff. So, which makes me giggle a little bit because, you know, they like to pretend that they don't care most of the time. He's 17. And then every once in a while he'll open a book and be like, hey, How come only my 15th birthday is in this album and you haven't put my 16th or 17th birthday in here? It's quite cute. So it'll look something like this, I think. I might move this up. I think some of this stuff will get covered by the circles, so I'm not too worried about them not being the same height. I'm just gonna glue them down and roll with it. We'll put some bigger circles where we have more spaces. That just makes sense to me. So yeah, when you're working with a sketch, never be intimidated by, you know, oh, I have to find me a new 12 by 12 sheet of paper so that I can cut it into a 12 by 7 piece of paper to fit into this 12 by 7 piece of space. No, you can use whatever you have on hand. There's no rules in scrapbooking. You do you. You do what makes you happy. This is supposed to be a hobby. It's supposed to be fun. I never understand when people get worked up about hobbies and fun things. If it causes you stress, it's not fun anymore. That's not good. I did a funny layout. Well, I don't know how funny it is, but I did a layout about a block tower that my grandson built. And the story behind it was that I was visiting him in, I think November, before Christmas. And he was playing in his toy room and his mom and I were sitting with him. And we were just chatting, and he and I were building towers, and then he was finding these towers or finding things, trucks and whatnot, to crash the towers down with. Which, I mean, that's a pretty ordinary little boy thing to do, I figure. But he goes into his toy box that's full of cars and trucks and whatever. He's a big car and truck kind of guy. And he pulls out his airplane and he flies it into the top of the tower. And I don't remember what even we were talking about when he did it, but I like stopped and was looking at him in horror like he'd done something wrong. Even though he really hadn't, he was just playing. But it just like struck me funny because of 9/11, right? Like the terrorist attack on the towers. And his mom kind of was like, well, made some kind of like offhanded joke about him being a little terror, and I giggled at it. It was cute and funny. And then I said to her, that was shockingly disturbing to me. Like, who knew that something like that would like strike me in such an odd way, like he had done something wrong, which he clearly had not. But you know, those of us who were around, I guess, it's one of those moments in time that I think if you had any experience with it, you remember, like, where were you when you heard about it, and what were you doing when you heard about it? And so it's kind of a big deal, right? And you know, all of the things that came to pass since then, like before that, Canadians could travel to the US without a passport. We could just drive across the border whenever we wanted. And after 9/11, that was not the case. We all had to get passports. I think a lot of us did most of our travel in the States and didn't bother paying for passports before that. I know I didn't have one. And so then we all ended up having to get them, which was totally understandable and completely fine. But you know, the world did change after that. It was an interesting piece of history, a big event. And although my daughter-in-law remembers it and understood the reference when I was like, when she said little terror or whatever, she doesn't have the same experience of it because she would have just been a little tyke. Like, she would have probably been what age he is now, or younger maybe. So not, even though she understood the like historical reference, she would not have remembered it in the same way that I did. But yeah, it was quite the interesting little story I had to tell, but this paper was perfect for it because it had the towers and the airplanes in this line. So when I saw it, I was like, oh, I have to go find that picture. That's funny. And yeah, so I think that I'm gonna try to do a flip through of all the layouts that I made with this this collection, because although it's from 2016, I actually purchased it at a garage sale, and I over purchased it. I think I bought everything she had, and I think the woman had a store at some point, maybe. I'm not really sure, because she had a ton of stuff. Or maybe she just really loved buying things, beautiful things. And so she had, I bought the collection kit from her, and some full-size sheets of paper, and some, the 6x6 paper pad, and the stickers were in the collection kit. And then there was also like die cut packs, and I bought 2 of them. So I had so much stuff for this collection. It just seemed to go on forever and ever. And I think it's almost finished, which is cool. I don't always use a collection like that all the way to the end, but I think because Janet was doing this collection cut up thing, and I was like, I'm gonna pick a collection I really love, and I did. And I definitely played with it until the bitter sweet end of it all. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Now, that being said, I will not have all of the layouts from this collection, because some of them are in his albums, and I've already taken them out to his place. So I won't have access to them, but I will have, if that's the case, I would have a photo of it, and so I would just put, oh yeah, photos go next. I would just put the like still shots of the photos at the end of the flip through, so that you could still see them all. But because I'm pretty sure there's at least 20, I think I said last time 25 or 26, so that's a lot from one group of photo, or from one collection pack. Now I have actually been kind of on a mission to use up my things too, which is, you know, I want to make space for new stuff, because I like all the new things that come out, and I have to, you know, come to accept that I have a finite amount of space that cannot be expanded in any way. I am not a witch or wizard, and I cannot, you know, fit more in here than what actually fits. And I do like to be organized. I'm one of those people who cleans up at the end of, you know, usually at the end of a page or at the end of a day, depending on how much I'm scrapbooking that day and what I'm using. So I also have, my craft room is right at the front of the house. So right behind me are 2 big French doors that are mostly made of glass panels, and the front door is right there. So everybody who walks in the house can see into my craft room. So I prefer not to have excessive crafter math most of the time. Not that it doesn't happen, but I do try to keep it neat and tidy in here. So I can't have big piles and piles of all the things. I need to, you know, keep it down to a minimum. So there's that. And so anyways, I've been kind of trying to like accept that I have to stop buying paper for a bit. Not forever, just for a while, just until I can say there's room in here, it's okay. I've also done a huge amount of purging, and, you know, let go of the papers that I was like, this does not fill my soul with joy. I don't need it. It can go. And I actually found some last night that I need to throw in that box too, because there's no point in having them in your room, taking up space, if they're not what makes you happy, right? You know what I'm gonna do? I think I'm just gonna like lay down a strip of adhesive. Okay, I love my ATG gun. It's not a gun, it's a glider. I don't know why I call it that. But I bought this adhesive with the yellow backing instead of the white stuff from Michael's, and it is from Tape Jungle. I will list that below as well. And it is, even with shipping to Canada and the exchange rate, it's extremely cost effective to order from there. Now, to make it worth it cost effective wise and ordering and shipping, etc., it did matter how much I was buying. So it didn't make sense to order in small quantities and have it, you know, shipped to Canada. It made more sense to buy like large quantity and have it shipped here. So I got together with a crafty friend and we bought, I think it was like, I don't know, she can correct me if I'm wrong if she watches this video. She might, she watched my last one. I think it was 144 rolls of ATG. So, I mean, we should be good for a while. We each got 72 rolls. I guess that would make half 72. Yeah. So, I mean, that's a lot of ATG. But I find with these yellow ones, sometimes the glue kind of sticks and keeps going up and doesn't stick to whatever you're adhering it to. And so that annoys me sometimes because I didn't find that with the white ones that I was buying from Michael's. But it's just so expensive. Like here, I don't know what it costs like at Hobby Lobby or whatever you guys have down in the States, but in Canada, that adhesive is like ridiculous. I think it's like 17 something for one roll or 2 rolls. It's 2 rolls in a pack for 17 something, which, I mean, what? That's a lot of money for glue, I think, in my humble opinion. So yeah, we did this. I just feel like sometimes that it's being wasted when it sticks like that and doesn't go where I want it to, but I still feel like I'm getting my money's worth out of the Tape Jungle order, the excessive Tape Jungle order. But I was happy with it. I actually had wanted to do it myself before, but was like, that's a lot of money to put out all at once. And so I was really happy when my friend was like, hey, do you want to do this with me? Because I think it would be a good idea. I was like, yes, I'd been looking at that. I do think it's a good idea. Let's get it. So it is a good idea. I just wish it would just work every single time the way that I want it to, because it's all about me and what I want, obviously. And like I said, crafting is supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to be stressful. So I'm just layering up some of the smaller circles on here just to give it a little bit of, so it doesn't just look like a row, I guess. Gotta give it some movement. I want to create a little movement in here. So this little guy is so blessed. He's so loved by so many people. His, we have big families on both sides, his mom's side and his dad's side. And his, so when it's his birthday, I mean, I thought my kids were spoiled, but holy, he had so many people there to love him. And because both myself and my husband and my daughter-in-law's parents were on the younger side when we had our kids. The like great grandparents are all still around too, and they love spoiling him. And so he has 3 sets of grandparents, and how many great grandparents? He would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So he has 6 sets of great grandparents. Now, that's a ton. Plus, my grandma is still around, and she doesn't have money to spend on gifts anymore. She's, you know, in a home. She doesn't always remember who I am. She has dementia quite badly, but she adores him nonetheless and talks about him. And she's only met him twice. But I mean, talk about loved, right? So this little chair that he got, that's what this story is about his, he calls her Africa Nana because I'm grandma, his other grandma is Nana, and then his third grandma, so his dad has, myself and my husband are his parents who raised him, and then he has a biological father and a stepmom that he was also close to growing up. So I guess I'm not using that. Look at that. Didn't I just talk about using up a roll of washi tape? Apparently this one is one of them because that didn't even come off right. And it was not 12 inches anyway. So he has my husband and I, and his Nana and Papa are his mom's mom and dad. And then he has his Africa Nana, which is my son's stepmom. And she just adores this little guy too, but she has moved permanently to Africa in the years, I think about a year before he was born. She's running a non-profit organization out there. She went out there on a mission and just fell in love with it and the kids and all the things. And she's got a huge heart. So she stayed out there, or she went back, I guess. She did come home for a while. And she still finds ways to spoil this little guy from a distance. So she has, you know, things, presents and whatnot, little letters and fun stuff shipped to him. So this was his first birthday gift from her. She had this little chair sent, and it's a Fisher-Price chair, and it has like all the buttons. And I don't know about other kids, but this little guy loves pressing the buttons. So he was very happy. But the story I got when I got the pictures of this, Africa Nana had sent this gift through Amazon, and the joke was that he got a fun birthday present for his first birthday from Africa Nana, and according to Daddy, Quentin not only helped Mommy build his new chair, but showed Mommy how to use the screwdriver. So I don't know what Mommy did wrong with the screwdriver, but apparently she was doing something wrong, and Quentin stepped in and showed her how it was done. So that's super cute. They're so good about keeping in touch with us too, like, and I'm sure they're the same way with his stepmom. The first year of his life, like I said, was pretty hard on me, and they would send, like I shouldn't say they, because my son's not super good at keeping in touch, but my daughter-in-law, she would send me a snapshot of this little guy at least once a day. And just like a little blurb or a little sentence or a little update about what, you know, what's new today, what they're up to, how he's feeling, any of that kind of stuff, which was so precious to me. And so when I started his album, this is where the craziness comes in. I decided I was going to scrap all the pictures that she sent with the little captions from the text messages. Well, that's a lovely idea if you're very organized and, I don't know, maybe don't have a full-time job, to keep up with that, to keep up with the whole, you know, let's scrapbook every day. Let's keep track of what she said every day. Let's match that with the photo every day. I ended up like scrolling back in my text messages so many times and trying to find what was said about each photo and what day it was taken, and oh my goodness, it's just been such. So anyways, that's all finished now. It's all organized and I am getting there, but what an endeavor. He has a lot of first year scrapbooks, and unfortunately I don't think his sister's gonna get the same quantity of books, but I'll just have to make sure that the quality is excellent, because I can't keep up that pace. I think I was crazy thinking that that was a good idea. But they love his books. They look through them. I have pictures of them. When I bring them a new one, both of his parents will take a turn sitting at the table and actually reading every word of every page, which, man, if that doesn't motivate you to scrapbook, I don't know what would. I just love how much they love it. It's so heartwarming and makes it all feel important. Let's see, I don't know if I want that there. So I was also going to mention that Scrapbook Generation has their, like I said, they have their crop going for quite a while. And if you want to participate in any of their challenges, certainly go sign up for their SG Scrap Squad Facebook group, and you can find all of the challenges in there. And even if you just want to like peruse everybody's layouts, there is so much inspiration. I mean, I know there's so much inspiration pretty much everywhere we look these days. Everybody's sharing. It's so lovely. What a beautiful community we have as scrapbookers. It's such a blessing. Now, does anybody else listen to Scrappy podcasts? Because I've been listening to one that I particularly like. I can link that below too. And it's free, and it's pretty much on any podcast app, but I think if you don't like apps or whatever, if that's not your thing, you just want to go on the internet and do your thing, that's okay too. I think you can listen to the podcast from their website, but scrapbook.com has one, and it has they have on like such interesting guests on their podcast. They have on the one I listened to last week, it had a male scrapbooker who I'd never heard of before, but apparently he's gained some attention online, and he's a younger guy, and he has been coined the nickname Tiny Tim, because after he was introduced to Tim Holtz virtually, not in real life, but virtually, he became like very interested in creating. He's a card maker and creating in the same way that Tim does. And so I haven't gone to check him out yet, but I'm interested to get online, because I usually listen like in the car to a podcast, or when I'm getting ready for work, sometimes I'll listen, which, you know, that's not the time that you can just be on the computer looking stuff up. So maybe it is better for people to just listen on the computer. I don't know, so you can look things up while you're listening. But I like to have that kind of stuff like in my ear when I'm doing like unpleasant, not necessarily unpleasant, but things that are like mundane, you know, getting ready for work, driving to the other side of the city, doing laundry. Sometimes I'll listen to a podcast, or doing like household chores. So I just thought I'd mention it. I'll link it below. It's interesting. Scrapbook.com, actually, I don't shop there because I don't like paying the shipping, but I like the shipping to Canada. But I do like some of the things on their website still. I still go to their website often enough. I like their, like I said, I like their podcast, but they also have free classes like all over their website and on their YouTube channel. And like, that's just so nice to be able to like log in and find inspiration, or like check out a new designer or what have you. I want to use this last little dot. Maybe I'll put it somewhere. Maybe I'll sprinkle some of these dots through our little circle, because they're circles too, right? Oh, and you know what else I pulled out? Brads. Who still uses brads? I do. Anybody else? I love brads. They just give a different dimension, texture, I guess, to the page. So I'm gonna put those in too. If you want to just fast forward to the end and see the finished product, I'm okay with that too. I totally get it. I'm not the fastest scrapbooker in town, but I also, just because I work 2 jobs and still have a kid at home and have a busy life, I just don't have time for, you know, doing my scrapbook pages and doing voiceovers. It's just, and it's also just not where I want to spend my time doing the voiceover stuff. I don't mind turning on the camera and scrapbooking in front of you, sharing my ideas and my thoughts on the topic, but I just don't think that I would ever be that person to be like, yeah, I'll make all kinds of just process videos very carefully under 10 minutes. That's never gonna be my jam. So here is the basic layout. I think I'm pretty much done. I'm going to add some enamel dots. We got the what do we got? We got the tag that I wanted to include. We've got journaling. Oh, you know what else I didn't put on here? Shame on me. The title. My title is Build It, and it is from these Bow Bunny chunky, what are they called? Chunky Chips alphabet. Chipboard Alpha stickers. So I think I'm done with this too, because I think I've used all of the letters, and I'll show you what I did because I didn't quite have everything I wanted. I was missing an I, so I took a J. I'm just going to match up the J and the I that I already have. I'm going to cut it off. That's garbage. And now I have 2 I's. Build it. Oh, exclamation point. So that, I don't know what I did with my other dot, but that's okay. There's more on here. And I think I might sprinkle some of these, because I have more of these dots. I might sprinkle them in with my enamel dots as well. There's my... Right, sprinkle some of those in there. Maybe one with each brad. Might be cute. And maybe, do I want some up here too? Ooh, look at that. Yeah, how about that? Okay, I like that. And then I was just going to sprinkle on some enamel dots. Those are the same color as my brad, so let's try something else. I will do green. How about green? When I was little, my mom used to say this thing to me when I would like dress funny, and I would wear strange outfits. And one of the things that I always liked to do was to put blue and green together, but not necessarily like a blue and green that matched. And so she would say to me, blue and green should never be seen without a monkey in between. And still, as an adult, when I scrapbook sometimes and I include blue and green and I put them next to each other, I ask myself, where's the monkey? Okay, I think that's my layout for today. You can hit the show more button down below under the video description to find the links to the things that we talked about in this video. I will include this free sketch and a link to the Scrapbook Generation website. I will include the link I found to the available product for Bo Bunny. And stay tuned to the end if you want to see a still shot of my completed layout and close-up shots. And if you have any questions or comments, I would love to hear from you. It'd be much appreciated if you would click that like button and give me a thumbs up. And if you would like to see more videos here at the Paper Route Scrapbooking, click that subscribe button and be sure to hit the notification bell so you will be notified when I have a new video up. Thanks for watching.